Welcome to the Baseball Together podcast, baseball family. For those of you new to the show, we are here to raise money for the nonprofit organization Called Up, whose mission is to give disadvantaged young ball players the equipment they need to play the game we all love. We also want to unite communities by improving or rebuilding baseball facilities in areas suffering economic or environmental hardship. At this time, you can support by purchasing t-shirts and other baseball-related apparel and accessories from 9plusus.com. 10% of all these sales go to the cause. Again, that's 9plusus.com. The number 9, PLUSUS.com. 9plusus.com. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Baseball Together podcast, brought to you by 9plusus. Welcome to this episode of the Baseball Together podcast, baseball family. I am Brad, and Brig is out again this week. We're hoping that he has a speedy and great recovery. So I have a very special guest with me again this week. This is a new guest. This is the aforementioned in episode 14, Quinn. Say hi to the baseball family, Quinn.
Hey, baseball family, how's it going?
You know they can't respond to you, right?
Wait, how does this work? Are we live?
We're live right now, but recorded when they listen.
Oh, I thought that said live. Okay, my bad.
It's just reminding you to live, Quinn.
Good stuff.
Anyway, we have some good stuff for you today. We're going to go run through some current events, and then we're going to get into something that I call team shopping. I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get to it. But first, we have, Quinn, the first thing is Dave Dombrowski, the president, acting as the GM of the Boston Red Sox, was fired last week. I don't entirely understand this. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me because the Red Sox, I don't feel like, are that bad of a team.
Right.
I mean, what do you think about this, Quinn? What are some of your thoughts on that? Like, were you caught off guard by this too? Do you know something I don't know about Dombrowski?
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me either. Didn't they win last year, the World Series?
Yeah, that was one of the articles I read. That was 10 months after they won the World Series. He got fired.
They're like the same exact team minus the closer.
Yeah. Keuchel's the only one who's not on that team still, and I don't understand why they would just be like, "Oh, you didn't sign the closer, and now we're losing." No, there's got to be more to it.
So is he? So you said president of baseball. Is he the GM also? Or...
Yeah, he's acting as the GM because the Red Sox don't technically have a GM.
Oh, okay.
So that was his job.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't feel like everything that's going on the field right now is his fault.
Right.
I mean, they talk about a World Series hangover sometimes, and it might be that. You know, I don't know that.
Well, yeah,
many teams win the World Series back to back.
Right, and also, like, who are you going to get that's going to do a better job? Like, why fire him? I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a great point because he's done a great job putting that team together. I mean, he hired Cora.
Right.
And you know, and I read too that he was a little bit worried about his job since Dombrowski.
That's what I was going to wonder. I was like, so what are they going to fire the head coach? Like, this guy just won the World Series for you. Everybody loved him last year, and now, I mean, just because you're in a really hard division, like,
yeah.
they have to play the freaking American League All-Star team, however many, like 12 times a year. That's 12 losses right there.
Yeah, pretty much, and you know, they boat raced the Yankees a couple times this year even, so it's not like they've played poorly against the competition they needed to play well against.
Yeah,
you know, they had a series where they ran the Yankees out of the ballpark, and I feel like they just had some really bad stretches, which is to be expected with a team that won the World Series the year before.
Right.
I don't ever expect anybody to go back to back because that's brutal. I'm surprised the Dodgers are playing as well as they have after 2 years in the World Series.
Right.
Because that's a lot of baseball.
It is. Baseball's hard.
It is. It's very hard. But I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else scooped them up, and then that team
for sure
immediately became contenders.
Yeah, isn't this what happened with who's the Cubs guy? What's his name again?
Theo Epstein. Yeah.
Wasn't he on the Red Sox? Like,
he was. He built the 04 and 07
So he
teams.
goes and he breaks the Red Sox curse, and then somehow they let him leave, and then the Cubs get him, and then he breaks their curse. Like, I don't know, maybe you should hold on to these people that are winning World Series. That's just me.
Maybe you should own an MLB team, Quinn.
Oh man, I should. Me and Jeter. I can fix the Marlins.
Speaking of the Marlins, or a former Marlin, I guess, Christian Yelich got injured last week when he fouled a ball off of his kneecap, his right kneecap, and then he fractured it. Luckily, he's not going to have to have surgery on it. It sounds like it's just going to heal. But my question with this is, I'm wondering if the Brewers can even make the wild card now. What do you think about that, Quinn? Do you think the Brewers still have a chance?
Well, first of all, I want to say, what a segue. That was amazing. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you.
That was great. So I looked into this a little bit, and I don't really know anything about the Brewers besides him. And
yeah.
But here's what I kind of compared it to. A team that I do know about is the Angels. And I've noticed when Trout's injured, you see a lot of the other guys step up, and it's only for a few games, but there's only a few games left, right? Those are like 16 games.
Yeah, there's only about 12. Yeah, I think 12 games
so
left.
I think I'm gonna go and say they're gonna make a run, and everyone's just gonna step up and just get to the wild card game. And I'll say, bold prediction, I'll say they win the wild card game and then lose in the first series.
Oh, there you go. I like that. Going bold already.
Yeah, I think they can put a run together. I've seen the Angels do it before without their best player, and it's possible.
Yeah, and I actually totally agree with you. I think that the Brewers are going to be just fine. Because the guy I'm actually a huge fan of the guy who's going to be replacing Yelich.
Is it Dombrowski?
Ben Gamel.
Oh, Gamel. Oh,
yeah. Nice. Close. Very close. No, it's Ben Gamel. He was a Mariner, and I was actually really bummed when they traded him away. Because he's a great player. Well, great's too much. He's a very good player. How's that? He kind of struggles a little bit in left field, I've noticed, but in center field and right field, he's just fine. And he's kind of streaky at the plate, but he's very fast. When he gets on base, he's going to steal a base and he's going to score.
Well, he just needs to get streaky right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. He's only going to get a streak.
Yeah,
I'm
feeling this team. I mean, again, besides the fact that Yelich is going to be 1 or 2 in the MVP. If they're that close, there's 9 guys, there's pitchers, there's so much more than just one player on a team. Look at the Angels, Trout. They just walk him every time. So I think the rest of the team is obviously good enough to make the playoffs even without Yelich. So I'm thinking they're going to make a run here. How many games back are they? Half a game, something like that.
They are. I actually had this up just a minute ago. In the wild card, they're 1 game back. This is Saturday night. They're 1 game back with the Cubs.
Okay.
So I don't think it's unrealistic to say that the Brewers are going to make it. That they can close out that 1 game.
Yeah.
They're only 2.5 back of the Nationals.
I don't like betting against the Cubs either. I'm guessing the Nats are going to tank here, and they're going to take the National spot.
Going to tank. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. But the Nationals have played really well this year. But no, I've got the Brewers making the wild card.
So somebody has to get knocked out. Who do you think is going to lose? The Cubs?
Yeah, I'm going to say the Cubs.
Joe Madden? Yeah, Joe Madden.
Well, yeah, Joe Madden. I've read that he's on the hot seat.
I hope he is, and I hope they fire him, and I hope the Angels hire him as soon as he gets let go.
Well, he does have ties to the Angels.
Know, that's why I love him so much. He was their bench coach in 2002 when they won the World Series.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
That whole coaching tree went. So Bud Black was their pitching coach, and Joe Madden was the bench coach, and then like Ron Renicky was like their third base coach, and now he's like, hey, anyway, that's a good. That was a really good coaching staff. But I like Joe Madden a lot, so I hope they do fire him.
Because who's coaching the Angels right now? Is it Brad Ausmus?
Yeah, which he seems fine, but I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, if Madden's on the market, I could see him like, sorry,
dude,
you gone.
He's a game to look at. Wasn't he on the Rays, and the Rays were like the Cleveland Browns of baseball for forever, and then he went there, and I want to say they won the division, didn't they?
They went to. Did they go to the World Series or just the ALCS?
I don't know, but anyway, the point is.
Oh no, they had a good playoff run either way.
Yeah, he's a difference maker, and I think I would love to have him, dude. That made me really happy. I didn't know he was on the hot seat.
Yeah, I read that if and it's just like if they don't win the World Series, like that's their expectation this season, even though they haven't played well. That if they don't win the World Series, he's out, and they're going to try to trade Chris Bryant. Like, I don't know why you would do that.
Well, this is Theo, right? I mean, we were just talking.
Maybe he should look in the mirror. I don't know.
So I guess he knows what he's doing.
I guess so. And my thought when I read that, I was like, okay, but I don't know. I guess the UFC does give Madden a little bit more leeway and freedom with the lineup and stuff. But there's some general managers
who gives him leeway.
Well, Theo Epstein. I
thought you said
from
the
what
UFC.
I've read.
I was like, wait, what?
Oh yeah, like Madden, like in the off season, he moonlights as a UFC fighter, don't you know?
Oh man, him and Dana White throwing down.
Yeah, they're boys, man. But no, I was gonna say, so they lost in the World Series in 2008. By the way, I just found that the Rays did under.
There you go.
But they had 3 more playoff runs after that under him. So he's the only one who's been able to do it there.
And even like after he left, like he turned the program around is what I'm saying. And the Angels need a turnaround. Anyway, this isn't an Angels podcast, so I'll step down, but just saying.
Maybe I'll have you back on another time and we'll talk just about it'll just be an Angels episode.
Oh, that would be great.
But I don't know. I completely lost my train of thought about the Cubs, so let's just go ahead and move on.
Okay.
The last thing I want to talk about is Kyle Lewis, my guy. He got called up by the Mariners this year, and I've been waiting. I knew this was going to be the year because he was at AA at the Travelers this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I was waiting all season for him to get called up, and when he didn't get, and I just kind of assumed it would be September call-ups when we finally saw him. This dude's got power. Legit. I was listening to spring training games because I have an addiction. And every time I heard him homer, it was to left center. So when we were down in Arizona at a game, we were sitting out on the berm, and everybody kind of looked at me like, where do you want to sit? And we were kind of standing like right there in left center. I was like, well, this is Kyle Lewis's power alley. Why don't we just sit right here? And we did, and he didn't hit a home run that game, but where we were sitting was exactly where he hit his first home run. Was it his first or his third? I don't know. He homered in 3 straight games. So one of those 3 home runs was right where we were sitting. I was like, ha! I knew it. I picked the perfect spot.
Oh man, that story. I thought that was going somewhere else.
I wish I had a better ending to it.
It was like Smalls on the Sandlot. I just stuck it up there.
I just stuck my glove up and it just dropped right in.
So he didn't hit a home run. No, but it would have been cool if he did, huh?
But you can imagine if he did. No,
so wait, so was this spring training? What city? What do they play in?
And there's in Arizona in Peoria.
Okay.
That's where the Mariners
play. I've been to the Tempe one.
So yeah, because you went to an Angels game, right?
Yeah, and you sit out there on that the grassy knoll, and just like you're like right there next to the players. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. Spring training is awesome. If anybody hasn't had a chance to go, I highly recommend it because it's a ton of fun.
Take your kids.
It's a complete take your kids, and it's a completely different baseball experience.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So yeah, but anyways, Quinn, I want to ask you as a fan of a fellow AL West team. Do you think, because the Mariners have a few guys like this, like great hitters, he has a little bit to be desired defensively still right now, but all that I saw was in his first game, so I'm sure he's still getting used to sightlines and stuff at Safeco. But do you think if the Mariners call up a few more guys of Kyle Lewis's caliber, do you think they'd be contenders in the West, at least for a wild card?
Okay, so I was thinking about this. So I heard about this guy, Lewis. I don't follow the Mariners, but he popped up on ESPN because of what he did. And so I started thinking, like, okay, so what does this mean? It's the end of the season. How does this change, like, their next season, like their potential outcomes? And I started thinking that, unfortunately, pitching is what everybody needs. And if you're going to compete against the Astros or the Red Sox or the Yankees, whoever is going to be in that conversation, you need better pitching. So I'm going to throw a question back to you and say, what are your pitching prospects look like for Seattle?
So there are some good pitching prospects. I was actually looking at this because I wasn't sure where everybody was ranked these days. So I've got the Mariners' top 30 prospects right.
Oh, nice.
Number one is an outfielder, Jared Kelenic, and he's supposed to be even better than Kyle Lewis. He came over in the trade from the Mets. And then there's, let's see, in the top 10, there's 1, 2, 3, 4
pitchers.
4 pitchers, yeah. Logan Gilbert, I've seen a little bit of his stuff. He's really, really good. Justin Dunn, that guy's got swag. I was watching a clip of him, and he pitched a no-hitter. I think he pitched like 4 or 5 perfect innings a couple weeks ago. But while he's standing there getting ready to wind up, there's some music playing in the background. He's like dancing on the mound.
Like on
I was like, dude,
what's that movie? Like, I like it when they call me Big Pop. But
yeah. And then the number 9 prospect is Justice Sheffield. He's been up and down this season, from AAA to the big.
Is he Gary Sheffield's son?
I don't know. I hadn't thought of that.
About the right age, I would bet.
Yeah, I would think so. But my only problem with Sheffield is, talk about inconsistent and streaky. Holy smokes. Because he'll go out there and he'll pitch 4 or 5 like lights out innings, but then he goes out for 1 inning and it's peppered in there somewhere, whether it's the first inning or the third or the fifth, and he gets
just
shelled.
Gets lit up.
Absolutely killed. Yeah, and I feel like that happens once an outing. So if he can get that sorted out, then
well, that's why he's in the minors still. Good. So yeah, hopefully they can.
Yes, exactly.
But I think that's what every team the Angels and the Mariners and anybody else who wants to compete in the West is going to have to freaking get more pitching or just wait until the Astros break up. It's like going against the Golden State Warriors. It's like, well, you can.
Yeah.
Like totally revamp and just go for it, and you'd have to build a super team, or you can just wait a few years and Durant will go crazy and freaking Clay will get injured and Draymond's going to be in jail here soon. I don't even know if he's done anything, but I'm just guessing. So, now there's only 2 All-Stars on the team. So that's what I would do. Just wait.
Well, and that's the thing too, is you could, right? You could just sit and kind of wait it out for a few years. Build your farm system and have everybody timed that, like, okay, we project that these 3 pitchers, that Verlander, Cole, and Greinke, that those guys are not going to be with the Astros anymore in this season, and that's when our prospects will be ready to go and we'll be loaded up, ready to make a run. Or so the Mariners took a year off of contending this year, because the last couple of years they've been pretty close to get that wild card spot. But they've just missed it. And basically that group hit their ceiling, so that's why they tore everything down. They said, let's take a year and develop guys. So they're going to try to contend again next year is what they're going to do.
Do you know what was funny about the Mariners is you told me this early on in the season. You're like, yeah, the Mariners, they're basically tanking, but we'll call it rebuilding. And and then they started off like, what? Their first 10 games, they were like 8-2 or something.
They won like
freaking Vogelbach had like 20 home runs or something crazy. I was like, jeez.
Yeah, it was like they started like 13 and no, it was like, man, I want to say it's like 16-4 or something.
They were killing it. I'm like, are you sure they're tanking?
Well, and as I was watching that, I was like, yeah, like they're scoring all those runs, but man, the pitching stinks.
So that goes back to what we were saying, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like you can just kind of, because so much weird can happen in baseball just overnight, right? Like, I feel like they might as well contend when they can. Just take a year off like they're doing this year, and then next year be ready to compete again. Because who knows what's going to happen to somebody's elbow?
Right.
Ohtani came in his first season, and he ended up having to have Tommy John. I mean, he pitched, 6 games?
Yeah, I don't know, but it was fun watching him.
It wasn't
while he
very
did.
many. Oh, it was a blast. And then he has that UCL issue, and you never know when it's going to hit somebody. So I feel like you might as well contend as much as you can,
Right.
because disaster can strike. Like we saw with Yelich, he fouled the ball off his knee, and everybody's like, "Whoa, their season's over," but not necessarily. So I don't know. I feel like they should just try to contend as much as they can. Get ready for next year, like what Jerry DiPoto said. Be ready to contend, because you never know. You never know if somebody's not going to make it out of spring training, because, I mean, the Mariners traded for Drew Smyly a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And he came out of spring training, and he said his arm felt, quote, soupy.
That's a good adjective you want to hear from.
Yeah, I was like, what does that even mean? What does a soupy arm feel like? And turned out he needed Tommy John.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it feels like all the bones are just kind of like, I don't know, oatmeal. That's kind of
what. Yeah. So I don't know. That's why I feel like you might as well just try to contend every year, because you never know when something's going to happen to somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this, and we will get into talking about team shopping.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
The designated hitter. The infield fly. A ground rule double. The dropped third strike. To some, these seem like strange things. To you, these are just baseball things. Shop the Baseball Things collection at 9plusus.com. Welcome back, baseball family. I hope you enjoyed that short break. So like I talked about, we are going to do some team shopping today. I'll explain that more in just a minute. Quinn, we need to do a rundown with you.
Oh, all right.
So we're going to do a quick rundown with Quinn. Don't get caught in the rundown. All right, Quinn, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
That was a great song, by the way. Just want to say.
I'm glad you like it. So, Quinn, what would be your walk-up song?
Oh, man. I'm just going to say Big Papi again. I like that one. That was in my first thing that came to my head. So,
if you could have one piece of MLB memorabilia from any time, what would it be?
Jeez. Again, I guess. No, that's gross. Kurt Schilling's bloody sock.
That's not a bad one. I think it's in the Hall of Fame.
I'm sure it is, but that's so weird. Why would I want somebody's bloody sock?
Because it's not really blood.
I got it.
It's ketchup.
Randy
Johnson's,
be honest. A lock of Randy Johnson's hair or mustache trimmings. Either one.
I thought you were going to say the corpse of that dove.
Oh, dude, that's even better.
What?
Oh, I changed. That's the one I want. Oh, man. That was like the most awesome video. I can't believe that happened with that pitcher, the only pitcher who's throwing that gas. Oh, my gosh.
I know.
That was awesome.
It had to be him.
Yeah, dude.
What's the name of your autobiography?
Oh, jeez. How about this? That's the name of your sex tape.
That's the name of your autobiography?
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that. That's good. What's one food that is very popular that you hate?
Let's see. Chipotle. I hate Chipotle. I've never had anything good from Chipotle, and I've been so many times because everyone loves it, and so I'm like, maybe this time it won't suck, and every time it sucks.
Well, it's because you've had. Let me tell everybody. Quinn makes the best tacos in the world, and I'm not. That's not hyperbole. Like straight up the best tacos I've ever had in my life.
Well, thanks, Brad.
So I can see why you don't like Chipotle because you have those tacos.
Yeah, dude, those things are great.
If you were commissioner for a day, what's something you would change about baseball?
I When you were doing this rundown, I had all these answers when you did it with your last friend. Let's see. All right. It's like clothing optional. No, not that one. Let's see. Somehow to make baseball more fun. Let's see. I like they already do the names on the back of the jerseys. I like that a lot.
I like the nicknames.
Yeah, I like the nicknames. I think that's super cool. I like the custom cleats. Yeah. So maybe just some more of that, I guess.
Nice. More Players Weekend stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's your favorite ballpark food?
Hot dog, classic. But you know what else is really good is bringing in some Panda Express from outside. Because this happens. I went when I was 14, whatever. I went with somebody, and we all got hot dogs, and then the guy in front of us opens up his freaking Chinese food, and it's like the smell is just so strong. And this was before they had any other restaurants inside ballparks. Like now you can get brisket sandwiches and all the weird stuff, but back then it was hot dogs and nachos. So everyone's eating their hot dogs and nachos, and this guy's eating freaking Payway or I don't know what it was, but it smelled so good. And I was like, wow.
Smuggling Chinese food into the ballpark.
Yes. So that's what I do every time now. And I always get, people always give me this look. I'm like, oh yeah, you all want this.
That's awesome. Ready. I was going to do one more, but I think that's a good one to end on right there.
Cool.
I think we'll end it there. It's like I overthrew and you scored on that. That was awesome.
Nice.
So like I said, we're going to talk about team shopping. And what team shopping really is this is something I do every single year because the Mariners get eliminated from the playoffs. And so come playoff time, I have to find a team that I want to cheer for. So that's what I call it, team shopping. So we're going to do some team shopping for you guys today and talk about teams that we would cheer for, the teams that kind of, depending on what you're looking for in a team, like what you like about your team, and see if we can help you find a team that you like to. See if I can say team one more time. a contender that might be a good fit for you to cheer for through the World Series. So right now, it's a Saturday night. Saturday night, September 14th. Okay, I wanted to do this early enough so you have a chance to follow somebody for the rest of the season, then into the playoffs.
Smart.
See, it's not just a hat rack.
I get it. Like, you do have a lot of hats. I guess you would need a rack. And then I get it now.
But anyways, so this is where the standings are as of this moment. Saturday night. So the Dodgers have clinched. The Braves have clinched a spot today in the playoffs. And then we have the Cardinals on top of the NL Central with the Cubs 3 games back. So that seems like it's going to be the Cardinals.
So the Cubs are clenching right now.
They're clenching, not clinching. Yes, very good. Well put. And then you've got the Nationals a game and a half up on the Cubs in the wild card. Then the Cubs have the second spot. And then the Brewers, like we said, are only a game back. And you got the Mets are 3 games back. The Phillies are 3.5, but they're not going to make it.
Oh, come on.
So,
have some faith.
No, they're not going to. I'm not going to have that kind of faith. Bryce Harper's only one man.
I know, but
only one man.
Okay, well, I don't want to jump ahead, but I'll wait. We'll get there.
All right, that's fine. And then the landscape of the American League, you've got the Yankees, Astros, and Twins are on top of their respective divisions, and I don't see anybody catching any of those.
No.
The Indians are 5.5 back of the Twins right now, and that they're not going to catch them.
Oh, well, haven't the Indians won 9 in a row or something like that?
They've been playing very well lately, but they'd have to sweep the Twins.
I know. They're only 6-4 in the last 10. All right, never mind. My bad.
Anyway, and then you've got the A's on top of the wild card. They've got a game on the Rays, and the Rays have a 2-game lead on the Indians. Okay, and then the Red Sox are 9.5 back of the Rays.
Well, yeah, that's why they fired their guy, obviously.
I guess so. That's honestly something I never thought I'd say in my lifetime.
Yeah, dude.
That the Red Sox are 9.5 back
behind the Rays.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a whole lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Man, That's insane. So let's go through and we'll just pick like a couple teams.
All right.
That we think would be good. So Quinn, what's a team that you like going into this
This
postseason?
is the team I always root for if they're in the playoffs and the Angels aren't. Actually, even if the Angels are, I like the Braves in the National League. So I figure they are only ever going to, meet up in the World Series, and if they ever do, then I obviously choose the Angels. But right. Braves are my National League team for sure. So I always root for them, and it sucks. Like I don't follow them too closely. I'm not able to watch any of their games really. I just always liked them, and I think a lot of it is back from the '90s, like Maddox and Smoltz 90s, and Glavine and all those guys, Chipper Jones.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and their logos, dude, their logos are sweet. I think don't you have that the Tomahawk hat, like their alternative?
Not yet. I want to. It's
dude,
on my list of hats to buy.
Yeah,
me too. And they're my team too. Like
sweet.
I've been watching a lot of Dodgers games lately, and I like the Dodgers and everything, but I'm kind of the opinion that if you don't win the World Series after 2 tries, get out of there.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, the Braves are mine too. I mean, for the same reason. I've always liked the Braves. I've always followed them. When I was like 9, I could have given you 1 through 9 of the Braves batting order. Plus, obviously, we can still say they're top 3 pitchers. Yeah. Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox, because those were the guys who I felt like I had. That was about the time I started catching, and I had friends down the street that's who we watched all together, since we were we didn't live in a baseball market. We were living in Utah. And so we'd watch Braves games, and my buddies were like, I want to pitch like Greg Maddux. So they try to work on their pinpoint accuracy, and I'm like, you're close.
I'm framing everything.
Yeah, I really got good at framing early because of that. But yeah, no, the Braves, and Chipper Jones is one of my 2 or 3 favorite players of all time.
Yeah, dude. He's awesome.
And so I've always felt a connection to the Braves, and I'd like to see them do well now that they're finally contending. Yeah. And I think that team's cool, man. Like Acuna, that guy's awesome.
He is awesome.
I like him.
So cool thing about him and the home run derby, how he was just like you see everybody's spray charts or whatever, and he was just seemed like he was like playing a game, like within the game. Like, all right, I'm gonna hit 1 to the left, now 1 to center, now 1 to right, now 1 to the left, now 1 to center, now 1 to right, and like nobody else did that. And it was fun.
I noticed that too. It was a lot of fun to watch, and one thing about him too is that he had the most natural home run swing out of everybody because his natural launch angle is way higher.
Right.
Because it's something that they'd been talking about, and yeah, it was like he was taking batting practice.
Yeah, like working on stuff.
yeah, and he did well. Obviously he didn't do as well as some of the guys like Vlad Jr.
Yeah,
he did awesome, but no, he's a lot of fun to watch. I like him. He's a great center fielder. He robbed so many home runs. I mean, I know there's one like last week that he didn't quite get, but he's a great player all around. He's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, he's cool. And then I know they have Freeman on there too. And I always just see him. He just seems like solid all the way around. Kind of fills the stat sheet in every category. So.
Yeah, and we found out in the All-Star game, speaking of which, that he is apparently hilarious.
Freeman? Oh, I missed it. Was he? Did they mic him up or what?
He was mic'd up, and he was batting when Verlander was pitching.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Swing. Verlander told him to swing. He's like, throw strikes.
Yeah. Dude,
zing!
And then wasn't somebody in the booth like telling him what was like? Oh, it's gonna go fastball here or something like that. Yeah. Oh man, that was great.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun to watch him. And there was something I had posted on the VIP group a few days ago where he was. He had gotten out at second base, and I don't know who it was, like the shortstop or second baseman for whatever team. I didn't get a good look, but he slaps the ball out of his hand, and he smacks him and then he gets smacked on the helmet, smacks the ball out of his hand again.
Yeah, that was cool. I like seeing that stuff. That's like Miguel Cabrera and Beltre and all those guys. Pujols. That's how they kind of interact with each other. So it's fun to see.
Yeah, how they always pull their shirt out the back of their pants.
Right.
I love those videos. That's so funny.
Yeah, dude.
So funny to watch. So while we're in the National League, let's hang out here for a minute. Is there a wild card team that you would like to do well?
So I want the Phillies in the wild card, Brad.
Oh, you do?
But the playoffs are more exciting when the most exciting players are in the playoffs, and I want
And I agree with
Bryce
you
Harper into the
100%.
play. I want him in there. I don't care, what it takes. I want to see that hair flying around, and I want to see bat flips. I want to see him throw his helmet at first base instead of the pitcher. I want to see all of that in the playoffs. Like, it's just going to be 10 times better.
It would be, and he's a great playoff player
Yeah.
too. He hits so well in the playoffs. I'd like to see the Phillies make it. The thing is, I just don't think they're going to.
Yeah, probably not.
Is the problem, because the Cubs, the Brewers would really have to start
sucking.
playing horribly.
Okay, well, I have another question for you then. Do you think
What's that?
That Bryce Harper has practiced how to throw a helmet at somebody? Honestly.
Since then?
Yes.
I'm sure he has.
I think he has too.
I don't know. And I'm going to criticize his technique a little bit. I don't know why he was holding it by the bill, trying to throw it like a frisbee.
Right. Well,
dude,
he wasn't obviously thinking about it beforehand, but
you got this dome on your helmet. Throw like a dodgeball, man. Come on.
It was bad for him, but I guarantee you he's actually practiced that, or like at least thought about it. Like next time I'll hold it around like the top and throw it like a dodgeball. Exactly.
Oh, I'm sure he's at least thought about it. And like, next time, and maybe like drop down to 3/4 a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, I'm sure he has. So my National League team that I'd like to see, I want to see the Brewers. I'd really like to see the Brewers make a run and make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of actually like that team. I was watching them last year because I thought they were going to make it to the World Series out of the National League. So I watched them a lot last year, and I love that outfield. By the way, that's got to be one of the best outfields in the bigs.
Like the players or the slide.
Well, there's that too. that's pretty awesome. But the guys they have playing outfield when Yelich is healthy, because you got Yelich, Braun, and Kane. You got Lorenzo Kane out there with them.
Oh, cool.
So that's a great outfield, and like I said, I like Ben Gamel. I'd like to see him make a playoff appearance and see what he can do. See if he can steal a base in the World Series, because and get everybody tacos, because he's a guy he's a ton of fun to watch. You know what I mean? The first guy to steal a base, Taco Bell gives away tacos. I mean, it's no secret.
Oh, man, that's funny.
But no, like he's a lot of fun to watch. He's got that long hair and the beard.
Well, as long as somebody in the playoffs has long hair and a beard, I guess that's fine.
Yeah, I mean he's fun to watch play, and the other reason I want to see him do well is because my dad and I were at a Mariners game a few years ago, and Gamel came up, and I told my dad, because I think he was called up for September call-ups, but I told my dad, I was like, I think he's going to be a really good player. I was like, I think he's like, of the guys coming up right now, I think he's the one, and he's the only one of that group who's persisted, who stayed in the bigs, because like Taylor Motter came up as well, and last time I saw he was down in like advanced A or something like that.
Oh man.
So he's really struggled, but Gamel's done a pretty good job of maintaining. He was kind of up and down this year with the Brewers, I think, but no, I'd like to see him do well, and that's part of the reason I'm kind of pulling for the Brewers.
Cool, man. Well, like we talked about earlier, I think the Brewers have a good chance of getting in, but my vote would be Phillies if I had a choice. But
so I know that I said before that I think the Dodgers should kind of step aside and somebody else should have a chance. But let me real quick. I just want to talk about why I think people can cheer for the Dodgers, because I like this team. I watch a lot of Dodgers games too. I just want to say, like, I got to say that it's a likable bunch.
It is if you're not an Angels fan.
That's true.
It's hard for me to not like them, honestly. I'll say that.
Because I love watching Cody Bellinger. That guy's swing is so smooth.
Yeah.
Like he's one of my favorite players right now. And then you got Justin Turner with his beard. He's awesome. And then Corey Seager is a great player. If he could just stay healthy, that guy's having issues there. But
what about my guy, Jock?
Jock's awesome.
I love Jock, dude.
I felt so bad for him. He was on that tear last month, and then he ran into the wall.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awful.
Yeah.
But But yeah, I think the Dodgers are just a likable group. They're fun to watch, and they kind of have that like. I mean, you live in Southern California, kind of have that Southern California swag,
They
right?
do. They do. They
And
totally
watching
do.
Joe Kelly pitch for the Dodgers, I feel like he fits so much better with the Dodgers than he ever did with the Red Sox because he looks like Southern California to me. Like he
Right.
looks like to me he's gonna go out there, make his relief appearance, and be like, "All right, I'm done. I'm gonna go hit some waves." Like, that's what I think of when I see Joe Kelly out there pitching for the Dodgers. So I don't know. I don't have a problem with the Dodgers if they make a run. I'd like to see the Braves just because it's been 95 since they won a World Series.
Yeah.
And obviously longer than that for the Dodgers, but the Dodgers have had their opportunity.
Right.
I want to see. I'd still like to see the Braves do well.
So
So,
who do you want to see in the World Series? Like from the American League, who do you think's gonna make it, and who do you want to see make it?
so I honestly think, like I thought for a long time the Yankees were going to do it, but I think that those injuries are catching up to them, and they're not going to be able to do it. I think honestly, as much as I hate to say this, I think the Astros are going to make it out of the American League,
I know. So do I.
and it makes me
I don't
so
want to watch them
mad.
again.
Me neither.
I
Me
think I
neither.
think baseball should pull some like NBA stuff and just like make it so that the Astros don't get it to the playoffs or to the World Series again. Just like
Just
I don't know, have like just
get
like
Joe
call
West in
everything a
there, and
strike or something. I don't know. Fix
yeah.
fix some games here. I don't want to
Well,
watch
yeah. I
that.
mean, they don't have robot umps yet, so they could easily
There you
just
go. Yeah, exactly.
toy with the strike zone, right?
I think they should.
I agree. Who do you want to see
So
come out of
I
the American
guess
League?
I mean I guess I'm rooting for the Twins. Or let's see who's our wild card teams again. Let's see.
We have the right now we have the A's and the Rays, and then the Indians are a couple games back.
Okay, I mean I would really like to watch the Indians again. I thought of all the most recent World Series, that one was probably the most exciting, right? Was it Indians
Oh
Cubs?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that
Oh
was
my
exciting.
goodness, that was. And I watched a lot of those games and just got to kind of
Hmm.
know that roster a little bit. So I would like watching them again. Oakland is just they're just boring to me. I don't know.
I know.
I like a couple of
Everything
the
about
guys,
them.
but yeah, it's
Everything
just
about
like
Oakland is boring.
I don't want to
I
watch them
agree.
either. So I guess I'm going Twins if I had to. Twins or Indians if they make it.
Yeah, and I would actually like that's the thing is like I think the Astros are going to make it, but I'd like to see the Twins.
Yeah.
That's kind of who I'm pulling for, and part of it is I had such a positive experience when I was at Target Field a couple years ago. I mean, I kind of like brushed elbows with Torrey Hunter. I got to go down to the clubhouse and do an interview,
Oh yeah, that's
and
right. I forgot about that.
yeah, I think I told you about that right after having it. I think you texted you like,
I think I
guess who I just
I
walked
think I
past.
saw it, dude. I think you should like you sent me the. I don't know. Yeah, that was awesome, dude. I have his jersey. He's one of my favorite players. So
Yeah, he's awesome. I love that guy. Like I do pretty good about not being starstruck, but I walked past him and kind of like did like the little kid, like, oh, you know.
yeah, but he's so cool. He is probably like, you know, went up to you, gave you a
Oh
high
yeah.
five or something. I don't know. He's
Well,
awesome, dude.
he gave me like a little bit of a head nod. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, that's
see,
why I was like, oh.
yeah, that guy's cool. It's like Trout, dude. When
Yeah,
I
he's
went to
awesome.
spring training with my son, we were out there in left center, and we
Uh-huh.
were right up on the fence, and Trout he'd like look over and wave at you and give you head nods and like the whole game. Like if you ever said
That's awesome.
Trout, Mike, he'd look over and hey, what's up,
Uh-huh.
man? Like this is cool. So those guys are awesome.
That's awesome. I know I had an experience like that too, but mine was with Griffey.
Oh,
We
nice.
were out on the center field porch in Seattle, and Junior would just walk back and forth in center field. Like he never stood still. He was always walking back and forth. And one time he was walking to his left, and I just yelled at him, Junior, and he turned and looked at me and gave me a peace sign. I was like, oh,
Dang.
I think my heart stopped for a
Yeah,
minute.
that's pretty
Like,
cool.
oh my gosh, it's so cool. But anyways, the Twins. That's a team who I've kind of pulled for since then because, like I said, I had such a positive experience at Target Field and everything behind the scenes, and they were awesome. I kind of got to know a few people in the organization while I was there, and I'd like to see them do well. Mostly, I'd like to see those people who I
Yeah.
met um, get to experience the ride again because it's been since '91 since they won a World Series. So I think it'd be fun to watch a team who I've had kind of that experience with make a run to the World Series. Um, as much as it would pain me because of the way that they play. I want things to kind of go back to the, like, readjust back to the mean, of not hitting so many home runs. But if they win a World Series hitting a bajillion home runs, we're just going to see more of it.
Right.
Which is the unfortunate thing, but
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. And so you said the Indians, the wild card, right?
That's who I would like to see, but we'll see if they get there.
Yeah, and I struggle with this wild card group because, like we talked about, the A's are boring. We don't like the A's. I still have a grudge against the Indians from 1995 when they eliminated the Mariners from that first playoff run. I was like,
let it go, Brad.
Granted, I was like 9, and I was like, the Mariners aren't going to win the World Series this year, and the Indians eliminated them.
Well,
and I still hate
the Rangers because of that too. And I think it was '99, or yeah, they eliminated the Angels in the wild card game. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah. I still don't like Oral Hershiser because he pitched so well in that series. And, yeah, so I don't want the Indians to go. And I don't want the Rays to go because I don't think that fan base deserves it.
Right.
Because they're still not going to bite. Like, people still aren't going to go if they're in the World Series because they didn't go in 2008 when they went to the World Series.
Really? Oh, man.
So I mean, I don't know. They might have sold it out, but still, I don't. I just
probably like
feel like that team's
$2 tickets or something.
Yeah, they probably just were out there giving away on the street. Hey, you want to come watch the World Series? Yeah. Nah, not really, but I guess for you,
not really.
I'll go. So that's kind of my thing.
What's Florida like? Like, what are these people doing where baseball is like not like even on their radar? Like the Marlins, there's like 20 people at those games. Like Florida just must be like amazing. Like they just so many better things to do in life. But
yeah, I mean Florida's pretty awesome. I've been down there.
You have?
I think it's rad. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean all those crazy people walking around. The Florida man is there.
the Marlins man.
No, the Florida man that's in the news all the time who like Florida man finds baby inside of alligator and eats it. And I don't know what
Florida man.
So I mean they're probably just watching that guy,
Probably.
Like, why do we go to a baseball game? We just walk around on the streets and we see these insane people do crazy things. That's how they get their entertainment.
They're just staying in their homes because they're afraid of the alligators. That's probably what I do if I lived in Florida.
Yeah, that'd be it too. They all just stay home.
like, oh, there's alligators there? I will not step foot in that state again because the idea of an alligator terrifies me. Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
Did you see that golfer go over and slap the alligator on the butt?
Yeah, I did. And I was like, man, that guy's got some kind of cojones on him because not a chance. I'd be like, okay, we're done for the day.
Yeah, you can. I'll just take a 6 on this one. Give me a quadruple bogey.
With the way I golf, just give me a 10.
Yeah.
Or give me a 9. Give me a 9. Our rule is we never wrote double-digit numbers on our scorecards.
That's a good rule.
So it's like you're like 8 strokes in, not even on the green. Give me a 9.
Yeah.
Just pick it up. Save time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is there any other team, Quinn, that you think the people should cheer for in this group? Honestly, I think the Yankees are a ton of fun to watch, but it's hard because it's A, the Yankees,
right,
and B, all those injuries are adding up, man. I'd be terrified if I was a Yankees fan.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, they don't know if Gary Sanchez is going to be back before the end of the season. Like, is he going to be able to play in the postseason? Like, you got to have that bat.
Yeah. Well, here's the weird thing about them is they did this well with that many injuries. They're still 98 wins right now. Like,
yeah,
that's crazy how good they are. So I like Aaron Judge, of course, just like every other person in America.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know. I'm probably not going to root for them ever. I like him, but I can't root for the Yankees. I just can't. So yeah, Twins are bust for me, I guess.
Yeah, Twins are bust.
Whoever comes out of the wild card, but
yeah. Well, and the same thing with the National League. Like, I'd be cool if the Nats did well. They've got some likable guys on that team. Like Anthony Rendon's a great third baseman.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, he's not good. He doesn't get the attention he deserves because he's awesome. I don't like the Cubs, so they can lose out and not make the postseason for all I care.
I'm like, okay, what words is he going to say right now?
I make it a point to try not to have to bleep anything.
Right.
So
Oh man.
I don't want to have to put a little E next to the podcast.
Yeah,
Because
geez.
I feel like that would
You
shrink.
really alienate some of your fan base here.
Yeah, it really would. So I try to choose my words carefully sometimes. But I mean, it's not like I don't alienate people by saying that I hate their team.
That's true. Well, yeah.
But I feel like that's gotten to be kind of my character.
Right.
So whatever. But no, I'd like to see. And I think because we like our teams are American League teams. That's why it's easier for us to pick National League teams.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've gotten to the point in the American League. It's like, gosh, I hate that team.
And I'm like going down the line. I'm like,
we see them so much. Like,
no.
They've destroyed our teams. They've had such bad memories with them in the postseason or just in the season. Otherwise, like, I can't stand the Astros because when they were tanking and they were horrible, they still beat the Mariners every time they played.
Still beat the Angels too. Ugh.
Golly, yeah, they'd lose to everybody else in the American League, but they'd beat the American League West for some reason. Man. All right, baseball family. Well, there's some team shopping for you. I hope we helped. I don't know how much we did or didn't help. It was kind of fun talking about those playoff races, though.
Yeah, it was.
But while we're here, go ahead and make sure you jump on the shop. We've got some awesome baseball-themed clothing there for you. Hats, T-shirts. There's also some housewares. You can get pillows and mugs. The mugs are awesome. They're huge. Everything's great. Just jump on shop.9plusus.com. And you can also find the podcast and also just some articles about stuff that we share our thoughts about. And sometimes we actually blog about the podcast as well. Find that at baseballtogether.com. There's some great stuff there. We're kind of working on building out the content there, but it'll get there, and it'll be more diverse and kind of sprawling there. But as far as the podcast goes, if you like what we're doing here, like, subscribe, rate, review, whatever, wherever you find your podcast, and let us know. Give us some feedback if you'd like. We're always taking submissions for the mailbag, so you can actually find a link on baseballtogether.com to submit to the mailbag under the podcast tab in the navigation there. So send us your questions, comments, concerns, snide remarks, whatever you feel like you want to send us about the podcast. And when we address it, it's not a matter of if, but when we address it, we'll be sure to give you a shout out as well. But Quinn, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I've been trying to get him on here since we started, pretty much. And then I finally convinced him. So Quinn, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was fun.
And we'll make sure we have you on again during the off season so we can talk a little bit more about the Angels.
That sounds good.
Well, baseball family, thanks again for joining us, and we will catch you next week.